Well, joining me now to unpack the news of the day is Sky News senior reporter Caroline Marcus. Caroline, great to have you on the desk with me.
Great. Well, I was going to say, Aaron, you look a little bit different this week. I don't know if it's the facial hair or you've just, lost about a foot in height, but it's great to see you too, Caitlin.
Yeah, Erin's dyed her hair and decided to grow a beard. It's fantastic. Well, all eyes are on Ukraine as it marks the one-year anniversary of war. Country's ambassador delivered a powerful speech at the National Press Club, promising Ukraine will fight for as long as it takes. Take a look.
It is hard to lay aside the emotions one feels about this horrible anniversary. But such is my task, to contain the hurt and the horror one holds in his heart for one's countrymen, and share some thoughts that aim to assure you of a singular key aspect: that Ukraine must win, and that Ukraine will win.
To mark the anniversary, Caroline, Australia's stepped up its support for Ukraine.
That's right, Caleb. I mean, I guess you could call this a little anniversary gift. It's not really the sort of joyous occasion you would expect out of an anniversary, but the good news is the Ukrainians have been able to resist this Russian invasion for much longer than anyone expected. I mean, they thought this was going to be over in a matter of days or a couple of weeks. It's now been 1 year, and the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has announced $33 million in additional support for the Ukrainian forces. Now, this is mainly going to come in the form of uncrewed aerial systems. In other words, spy drones, which will be used to provide intelligence to the Ukrainians what's going on in the battlefield. So, I mean, look, that's a drop in the ocean to what Australia is already providing the Ukrainians. We've got more than $500 million currently going to the Ukrainians to help people who are displaced, as well as people fighting the Russian invasion. So, huge announcement today. Albo also had a message for Vladimir Putin. He said, "Stop this war now." So I'm sure Putin is shaking in his boots and taking notes as we speak. But look, we've got to do something, I suppose, and every little bit helps.
Indeed, and it sort of puts it into context. It's easy to say, well, this is a war being fought between Russia and Ukraine, but we are involved in it. We are part of it. And that was pretty obvious during the week, of course, when Joe Biden went to visit Ukraine. This is a war in which we are now involved.
Well, I think also it is a matter of principle as well. And Richard Marles, who's the Defence Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, said as well, it is part of our own national security interests. It's our foreign interests. If we don't uphold certain values, if we don't say, hey, we're not going to stand for it when someone breaks, the global rules order, we're not going to stand for that, then what do we stand for it all? So Australia is obviously taking a big stance here. They've also announced more sanctions on a further 90 people and 40 entities that are associated with the Russian invasion. So more sanctions, more money for drones, a big step up in aid for them.
And also today, a concerning forecast coming out of Westpac, which is warning of 3 more brutal interest rate rises by May. And if so, it'll bring interest rates to an 11-year peak. I mean, the bad news for homeowners just seems to keep on coming. Yeah,
look, they were already dreading what would have been a peak in May anyway. It was initially forecast to be around 3.85%. Now Westpac is saying it's going to be 4.1%, which, I mean, it hasn't been above 4% since April 2012. So 11 years, as you say. It's huge. It's a big sting for people already dealing with increased cost of living. Not great news to go into the weekend with, but there you go, Caleb.
Yeah, I just wonder where it's going to end. People are being punished for bad monetary policy, but there we are. Caroline Marcus, thank you for joining me tonight. I think it's your first appearance back on live TV since you came back from maternity leave.
What a pleasure to share that with you. Thank you, Caleb.
Thank you. A pleasure to have you.